Casey, you are up.
Hi, how are you, Deb? Thank you for the work. Just finished the inspection right now. Overall, it's in really good shape. We do have your major money items are newer. Your water heater, your air conditioner, and your furnace are all 2021 models.
2021.
We do have a couple code requirements with those components that I've identified. The air conditioner has a placard that says "Protect me with no bigger than a 50 amp breaker." And inside the sub-electrical panel in the primary bedroom, it's protected by a 60 amp breaker, so it's exceeding the unit requirements, and that is its only overcurrent protection.
And what does that mean exactly?
That means that if the air conditioner is wanting to trip that breaker because it's operating, and it senses it wants to trip that breaker so it doesn't continue to operate to protect itself from damaging itself, it's not going to trip at that point because it's exceeding that trip point.
Because it has 10 amps too much.
Right, so the 60 amp breaker inside the panel should be removed and switched out with a 50 amp breaker.
And that's just a snap in, snap out sort of thing?
It's a standard common breaker, Cutler hammer, easy to find.
Okay. There was one question about just on electrical. Deb had sort of asked if solar was going to be included on the house at any point. Would you just continue working with that panel, or would there need to be an
Well,
upgrade?
that would be up to the solar company. However, your main panel has plenty of room to add a solar dedicated breaker.
Okay.
So they could do that with the main panel outside the living room on that patio. I have seen solar systems with 125 amp panels, so that's not uncommon. And your panel is not old and it's not overloaded, so there's a chance they may just keep the existing panel and just tie into the system there. Worst case scenario, if it was requiring a 200 amp panel, that would be included in whatever solar quote you received.
Okay.
Okay. Mostly once we get inside the house, I'm a nitpicker on door stops. So a lot of doors don't have door stops. So if they open them too hard, they're gonna make a hole in the adjacent wall.
Make a dent in the wall. Okay, so you've called those out in the inspection report.
Exterior electrical is all good. Interior electrical is good with the exception of the kitchen. There's 5 outlets in the kitchen that are on the east and the south wall that are required to be GFCI protected, because all outlets in the kitchen as of 1996 are required to be GFCI protected. So when they did this remodel, all of the outlets in the kitchen should have been GFCI protected.
So are the ones that are on the west side where the sink?
There's only 6 in the kitchen, so there's 1 GFCI protected, the other 5 aren't.
Oh, so it's possible that it's just not done correctly, and those are all not connected to the GFCI, or do you think?
Chances are it might need, we can.
Yep.
So there's a chance that all 5 of these outlets are on one circuit, and we could put a GFCI here and protect them all, or a GFCI there and protect them all. The GFCI over there is not connected to these. It might be a different circuit since the wall has split. So it might be on a different
So it may be as
circuit.
easy as an electrician figuring out which one is the first
At
in the
the end,
line,
correct.
and then connecting it.
Correct.
Otherwise, it's a lot, one there, one there,
Yeah,
one
a
there.
bunch
So,
of different
okay.
buttons. Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. I'll show you some in the furnace here.
Okay.
Okay. So here's your furnace right here. This flexible gas line is connecting inside the firebox, which is not code. This needs to be a solid steel pipe that extends outside the component, and then that flexible line connects to it. So 2021 system, should be no doubt they should have been done the way I'm explaining it. We do have a sediment trap right here. Okay, and this is the same thing that's going on with your water heater. But this sediment trap is required to be on this side of the shutoff valve. It's not supposed to be on the downstream side. It's supposed to be from between the shutoff valve and this flex connector. So if this gas was shut off and all the pressure is put up against this valve, as soon as you open it, it should drop into that sediment trap before it enters the appliance. So this sediment trap is on the wrong side of the valve.
Okay, so they just sort of
It's there, but it's on the wrong side of
they
the valve.
kind of got it, but not quite. Okay.
And that's the same exact thing that's going on with your water heater. So the same plumber did the work.
Okay, the water heater out there.
The water heater's in the closet out there. Sediment trap. We're gonna go out there next because I want to
Okay.
show you something. Back?
Yep, I'm back. Here we go.
I just want you to know that this right here, I'd get some of that heat tape, looks like aluminum foil, and put it around this opening right here because we have a lot of air coming out of the coil. And Mark can verify if you want. Mark, put your hand here. We're wasting a lot of air right now.
Oh, I see. So if this is covered over, you
Get
want
some of
that
this heat
flowing.
tape. We'll get some of this heat tape right here, and it seals that right there, that
Okay.
coil connection.
Okay.
here's your water heater closet.
Okay.
Now, what I noted is I did not locate a water shutoff valve to the property,
Right.
an isolation valve, so it may be on a meter somewhere on the property, but to shut off the water to your house, I could not find an isolated valve without searching for the meter. That being said, everything comes in right here, so a shutoff valve can be installed on the supply pipe right here before it goes up to the water heater.
Okay.
And I'd recommend doing that and installing a pressure regulator.
Okay.
Because neither of those are here.
What is the pressure on the house? Is it high or is it?
No, it doesn't keep it on your side of the house, so it matriculates back into the metering system. So if you had a regulator, it'd keep it all from here over.
Okay.
Okay, it just stops. It keeps the pressure at your house rather than going through the water metering system.
Okay.
Okay, all these water pipes right here should be insulated with the black foam insulation. Okay, here same thing, sediment trap on the wrong side of the shutoff valve, just like the furnace. We're missing an overflow line on this temperature pressure relief valve. There should be a pipe that goes down at least 6 inches to above the ground. So if this flips up, you don't have scalding hot water.
Spraying at you sort of routine. On these, backing up a little bit, you were saying that these pipes down here should be insulated, and that's because they have hot water in them?
It's just code requires all water heaters, all the first 5 feet of water pipes coming to and from the water heater required to be insulated.
Okay, so that's like going to the hardware store and get those little foam
Yeah,
things.
the black
like
foam
that.
insulation, like
Foam.
wrapping around our handlebars on our bike back in the day. They're cut long ways, wrapped
Yeah.
around it. Also, I just made a note, they moved the laundry into this interior closet.
Yeah.
And we just have an open hole, missing drywall on this interior closet. So if that spooks you out, I recommend patching that.
Okay.
Okay, but I just know that
You're
we
just
have
sort
that.
of saying, be aware of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Other than that, very clean house. Roof looks good. What I noted on the roof, we have a couple foam blisters. So all foam roofs blister. So they'll make a little blister, and eventually that blister will split, and you'll have some exposed yellow foam to the elements that will serve as a sponge if it did rain. So a roofer every couple years will go up there and they'll shave the blisters off, and then they'll just recoat it with that white elastomeric coating, and then you don't have that worry about the blister. But every 3 years you should have a roofer go up there to check for blisters. Right now you have about 5 or 6 up on the roof, and it's above the east and the west bedrooms. And then we have a lot of pond fronds, a lot of debris up there that should be cleaned off of the flat roof.
Okay.
Also on the roof, what I noted is the vent pipe to the furnace. It should be at least 12 inches above the roof surface. We're right at, we just have the cap. So we need a 12-inch extension on that roof. So that way, as the gas fumes vent out of the flue, it goes to the exterior, and you don't have any possibility of backflow coming back down the pipe into the unit.
Okay.
So that's why that should be elevated at least 12 inches above the roof surface to go to the exterior and not come back down the pipe.
Okay.
I will submit a report via email in a PDF formatted file with color photos, send it over to you guys sometime tomorrow. Mark will get CC'd on everything I send you, and then we can talk again if you have any questions.
Actually, I'll hit you a couple of questions. So all of the original frames and rollers, they all seem to work?
Very
Is that-
clean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I did note that a couple of the sliders, so the east and the west bedrooms, those lock latches, they don't align in seat. So they do have, all of the sliders have a secondary lock on the track that keeps it locked. But if you just didn't want to use those and you just wanted to use the latch that were on the handle, the one in the 2 guest bedrooms they don't seat. They'll need adjustment in order to latch and seat secure.
Okay, so they can be adjusted in some way.
Yeah,
and
because if
then
you shut it and think it's locked, you can just open the slider.
Okay, and then
So it's not aligning.
and then water came in like we talked about over in that addition off of the
Yeah,
bedroom.
I believe that would come from the bottom, since that was a patio at some point in time, and then they extended it out and then they put a slider door there. That does leave a point where water can go underneath that thresh or that frame for that slider. In Hillary's case, we had a lot of standing water that didn't recede right away, and it found the path of least resistance. So I did get a lot of that where that's where it came in. I don't see any evidence of a roof leak or anything on the roof like that shows it was patched or anything like that that could have been the source. So if it was a wet carpet, then the chances are, without seeing it firsthand, it probably came in through the base of the slider door,
Okay.
which you can probably see. I saw a little bit of rust or discoloration on the slider door in that room, so that could have been the source without
Okay.
seeing it firsthand.
Yeah, we sort of talked about maybe getting some rock out there and having it so that water gets away a bit better.
Yeah, because it had a planter right out there, so it probably built
Filled
up
up,
and
yeah.
pounded up, but yeah, it came in. There's a lot of places that we found that.
Okay, well, thanks, Casey.
All right, thank you.